Hello and welcome back to online classes. Myself, M. Mehrar, I'm Principal, AII College, Barabanki. Today, I shall be teaching you English of class 10. I'll be taking up grammar. My topic is comprehension. The literal meaning of comprehension is the ability to understand something. As per the Longman Dictionary of English Language, comprehension is an exercise given to students to test how well they understand written or spoken language. The definition of comprehension refers to your ability to understand something or your actual understanding of something. An example of comprehension is how well you understand a difficult maths problem. Reading comprehension is the ability to process information that we have read and understand its meaning. To be able to accurately understand written material, children need to be able to understand what they read, make connection between what they read and what they already know, think deeply about what they have read. Dear children, there are 3 levels of comprehension. Reading comprehension is a complex process with 3 levels of understanding. These are literal meaning, number 2, inferential meaning, number 3, evaluative meaning. What is a literal meaning? Literal meaning is what the text describes as happening in the story. It strictly follows the exact words. An example of literal meaning is the belief that the world was created in exactly 6 days, with the 7th day devoted to rest as per Genesis in the Bible. The second is the inferential meaning. It is a conclusion drawn by reason from premises established by proof. It involves the underlying meaning of the text which is not directly happening in the story. It requires readers to interpret and evaluate information. You probably practice inference daily. For example, if you see someone eating a new food and he or she makes a face, then you infer he doesn't like it. Or if someone slams a door, you can infer that he or she is upset about something. Thus, inference is a conclusion or opinion that is formed because of known facts or evidence. Evaluative meaning is based on assessment to form an idea of the value of something. It calls for critical thinking and judgment. It is based on the assessment of the values, qualities, and the significance of a particular person or thing. An example of evaluation is when a teacher reviews a paper in order to give it a grade. An evaluation involves your opinion of the text. Examples of evaluations are through the use of adjective as in the following sentences. She is a lovely girl. We have formed an opinion about the girl that the girl is lovely. He is an awful man. This is something which is a negative opinion, that he is a terrible man. Number 3 is smoking is a really disgusting habit. we have formed opinion about the smoking, we infer or we evaluate that it is a habit which is a terrible habit. It is also a negative evaluation. Dear children, is comprehension a skill? Comprehension is a skill which comes with long practice. If a student wants to have a sound grasp over comprehension, he must expand his word power. For this, he should read as much as possible, and he should get by heart at least 10 words daily. He should underline the main points of the passage and write them in a serial manner, and finally summarize the views. Sometimes the students are asked to write the title or heading of the passage. For this, they can name it after the main character, object, or incident mentioned in the passage, or after some saying illustrated by the passage. The students should answer a question in the same tense in which the question has been asked. This is a general mistake which a student often make. If the question seeks your opinion, you should also write, "in my opinion." Sometimes the students are asked to explain the italicized words or underlined words or words written in bold type. There are some important tips for comprehension. Sometimes an unseen passage may be set, and students may be asked to answer certain questions based on these passages. They can write good answers only when they fully grasp the meaning of the passage, when they are able to express the meaning of the passage in their own simple, clear, and direct English, and when they clearly understand the questions asked. Dear children, at the high school level, you are generally asked to answer questions, Therefore, you should keep certain points in your mind. And these are, number one, read the given passage carefully 2 or 3 times before you understand clearly its subject. What is said about the subject? Ask yourself, what is the main theme of the passage I'm reading? What does the author say about the subject? Can I put in a few words the substance of what he says? Then read carefully the questions one by one and find out whether you fully understand them. Now take the first question and find out to which part of the passage it refers. Then take up other questions and find out which parts of the passage they refer to. Now write answers to the question in your own words. Do not copy the language of the passage blindly. The answer should be brief and to the point. Revise your answers and examine them carefully to see they are clear and complete. Correct all mistakes in spellings, grammar, punctuations, etc. Let the language of the answer be simple and direct. Now children, let us take an example of the exercise. First, we shall read it at least 2 times, and then we all answer questions set thereon. So, the exercises of man's earliest inventions we know very little. The first may have been the use of a stone to crack a nut. The next was possibly the use of a stick to strike an enemy. Once man found the stick and his stone were useful, it was only a step further to making of a rude weapon by fastening a stone to the end of a stick. Man used sticks and stones long before he dared to meddle with fire. For the early men, like all wild creatures, dreaded fire. Fire, of course, existed, for lightning must sometimes have set the forests ablaze just as it does today. And in those days, volcanoes were much more active than they are now. The forgotten hero who first dared to tame fire to his own use was the greatest of early discoverers. For once man had fire, he was master of all lower creatures. Now, children, I will read the passage again so you are able to get the main theme of the passage. I read it again. Of man's earliest inventions, we know very little. The first may have been the use of a stone to crack a nut. The next was possibly the use of a stick to strike an enemy. Once man found the stick and stone were useful, it was only a step further to making of a rude weapon by fastening a stone to the end of a stick. Man used sticks and stones long before he dared to meddle with fire. For the early men, like all wild creatures, dreaded fire. Fire, of course, existed, for lightning must sometimes have set the forests ablaze, just as it does today. And in those days, volcanoes were much more active than they are now. The forgotten hero who first dared to tame fire to his own use was the greatest of early discoverers. For once man had fire, he was master of all lower creatures. Now, children, let us answer the question based on the passage. What may have been man's earliest inventions? This is the first question. And the answer is on next page. Man's earliest inventions may have been the use of a stone and a stick to crack a nut and to strike an enemy. Now the second question, why did man not tame fire as early as he came to know the use of sticks and stones? As we know, children, man did not tame fire because he dreaded it. He feared it. Question number 3. What is there to show that fire existed long, long ago? The answer is, when man saw that lightning caused forest fire and volcanoes were active, it proves that fire existed long ago. Question number 4. Why does the author of this passage call the first tamer of fire the greatest of early discoverers? The answer is, the author calls the first tamer of fire the greatest of early discoverers because once man had fire, he was master of all lower creatures. Question number 5. When did man learn the use of fire? The answer, dear children, is man learned the use of fire after he had found that sticks and stones were useful. Question number 6. What set the forest to fire? The answer, dear children, is lightning set the forest to fire. Now, children, I'll take up another exercise so that you have more practice about comprehension. Once again, you have got to read the passage carefully and answer the questions given below it. I begin reading. Punctuality is the soul of business. It is very necessary in the prompt performance of work. If a man opens his shop later than the appointed time, his customers go away to other shops to make purchase. So also, when a trader comes to a railway station only a few minutes before the departure of the train in which his merchandise is to be booked, he causes much inconvenience not only to himself but also to other person with whom he has to deal. Similarly, if a schoolboy comes to school late, he misses his lessons for the time being, and if he goes on indulging in this habit, he becomes unsuccessful in the examination at the end of the year. It is therefore justly said that most of the failures in the examination of the present day are due to the want of a habit of punctuality in our boys. Dear children, I have finished reading the exercise. I'll give it another reading so that you have a better idea of the subject and the things mentioned in it. I begin reading. Punctuality is the soul of business. It is very necessary in the prompt performance of work. If a man opens his shop later than the appointed time, his customers go away to other shops to make purchase. So also, when a trader comes to a railway station only a few minutes before the departure of a train in which his merchandise is to be booked, he causes much inconvenience not only to himself but also to other person with whom he has to deal. Similarly, if a schoolboy comes to school late, he misses his lessons for the time being, and if he goes on indulging in this habit, he becomes unsuccessful in the examination at the end of the year. It is therefore justly said that most of the failures in the examination of the present day are due to the want of a habit of punctuality in our boys. Now children, I hope you have been able to understand till now that this is the exercise, the passage is about punctuality. Now there are some questions set on it, you have got to answer them. What is very necessary in the prompt performance of business? Dear children, the answer to question 1 is punctuality is very necessary in the prompt performance of business. Question number 2, dear children, to whom does a businessman who is not punctual cause inconvenience? The answer, dear children, to question number 2 is he causes inconvenience not only to himself but also to his customers. What is the reason of most of the failures? The answer to question number 3 is the reason behind most of the failures in the examination of the present day is due to lack of a habit of punctuality in our boys. Question number 4, what does a boy who comes late to school miss? The answer to question number 4, dear children, is if a schoolboy comes to school late, he misses his lesson for the time being, and if he persists with his habit, he fails the examination at the end of the year. Question number 5, explain the italicized words in the passage? The answer to question number 5 is that there are two words which are written in italics. They are performance and merchandise. Performance refers to the act of doing a piece of work, duty, etc. And merchandise, dear children, means goods that are produced to be sold, especially goods that are sold in a store. Question number 6, dear children, give a suitable title to the above passage. As you know, dear children, the suitable title to the above passage is Punctuality, Soul of Business, or Punctuality Only, or you can have other title, but you have got to mention punctuality in it. Now, dear children, I have got to recapitulate the main points regarding comprehension. Comprehension means the ability to understand something. It is an exercise which is given to a student to test how well they understand written or spoken English. It is an ability to process information that we have read and understand its meaning. Reading comprehension is a complex process which involves 3 levels of understanding. These are literal meaning, B, inferential meaning, and C, evaluative meaning. Comprehension is a skill which is harnessed by long practice of reading. One cannot comprehend written or spoken English if his word power is poor. Therefore, one must expand his word power as much as he can. A student should read a passage at least 2 or 3 times to be able to understand it properly. He should underline the main points of the passage with a pencil or pen. It is possible that he may not know the meaning of all the words in a given passage. Therefore, he should try to know its meaning in the context it has been used. He should not stop over it or get bogged down by it. Along with the passage, he should also read carefully the questions based on the passage. He should try to find out to which part of the passage the answer is located. The answer, dear children, should be brief and to the point. The answer should be in the same tense in which the question has been asked. Sometimes a student is asked to provide heading or title to the said passage. He should name it after the main character, object, or incident. Sometimes the title is present in the passage itself. Answer to the question should be written in one's own language. The words of the passage should not be blindly copied. Answers to the question should be revised to see if they are clear and complete. All mistakes in spellings, grammar, punctuation, etc. should be corrected. Now, children, there is a home assignment for you. Of course, you are going to get it checked by your school teacher. So read the following passage carefully and answer the questions set thereon. I read the passage once, and you can read it twice or thrice at home for your exercise. The great advantage of early rising is that one can start one's work long before others. The early riser has done a large amount of diligence before the other men have got out of bed. In the early morning, the mind is fresh and no sounds or noise disturb our attention. The work done at that time is generally well done. Also, one finds time to take some exercise in the fresh morning air. Exercise supplies him with a good deal of energy that enables him to work hard until the evening. By beginning so early, he knows that he has plenty of time to do his work thoroughly. He has not to hurry over any part of his work. He gets to sleep long before midnight. At that time, sleep is most refreshing. After a sound night's rest, he rises early next morning in good health for the toil of a new day. Now, children, there are some questions which you have got to answer them. The question number 1, what advantage does an early riser have over others? Question number 2, why should one take exercise in the morning and begin one's work so early? Question number 3, what are the uses of going to sleep long before midnight? Question number 4, when is the sleep most refreshing? Question number 5, explain the italicized words in the passage. Give a suitable title to the above passage. Now, children, hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. Hope to see you soon in my next video lesson. Until then, stay safe. Until there is no cure for corona, prevention is the only cure. So we have got to prevent corona by putting on our mask, washing our hands regularly, and maintaining a distance of at least 6 feet from others. Have a nice time. Thank you.